Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee. Welcome to our Unhappy Hour. Now, before you get to wanting to click off because we're too negative, just remember that this show is about showing things that might be bugging you right now, but how you might be able to turn those frowns upside down. We do this every fourth quarter moon, and we do it, and the reading is good till the next fourth quarter moon.
And look, Banshee, our set has festive Christmas holiday colors, red and green. And
Comet is here with us today.
Comet.
Gonna work as my emotional support animal or alien as we maybe he'll have some out of the world solutions for our problems.
You never know.
All right.
But basically, the reading is for the elemental signs of the zodiac. So we go through the fire signs, the air signs, the water signs, the earth signs in their natural order. And then we do a final reading, a fifth reading for the collective of the world as is, to say basically what's bumming you, world, and what can you possibly do to change it.
Well, thank you for mentioning that, Mr. O. Yes. So we're ready to get started.
That's right.
Let's start with, of course, the air signs.
Air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius.
What could be bugging you this holiday season? And in the dark winter of January ahead.
Astute viewers will notice that my St. Patrick's Day hat is doing double duty as a holiday hat.
Shuffle and cut, Mr. O. Well, that's cute and all.
Indeed.
All right.
Oh, we did not point out one particular peculiarity about the reading.
I know what you're going to say, so I'll just say it. We read all the cards in reverse during this show.
We do.
You know, because there is always something positive in the negative, and not all reverse cards are negative.
And we find this is a very cool reading, so we hope you will enjoy. So once again, for the air signs, Gemini, Libra, am I right?
And Aquarius. And what is the question? The first question.
Okay, our first question is, what is or will be making these air signs unhappy right now?
It's strength reversed.
Ooh. So maybe finding that you find you have to be more assertive or more aggressive than you feel like. You have to be a little bit more pushy, brings out an element in yourself that makes you feel unhappy. Maybe you would rather feel like, compassion, proper messaging, etc. Collaborations are a better way to get along with people, achieve your goals.
Yeah, it seems like maybe you're upset at someone or some situation that's really pushing the envelope with you, either a workplace that's demanding more out of you, or maybe family and friends pressuring you in some way to do something that you don't want to do, to believe something that you don't want to believe. This is the holiday season, and I'm sure there's a lot of political discussions and various things that are going to be going on that, getting together with family members that don't jive with the type of person you are, etc. So I'm almost sensing something like that making you unhappy right now.
All right, card 2. How are the air signs dealing with, or how will they be dealing with this unhappiness?
Well, so far, the 2 cards I pulled have been in reverse, which we would turn them otherwise. It's the 8 of Cups reversed. And so, well, that's an interesting one here. So how are you dealing with this? By retreating rather than moving forward with what you wanted to do. Maybe some people have been pressuring you to cease, your activities, and you are caving a little bit to this pressure, which is obviously why you are so unhappy.
Not only are you caving, but you may be moving back towards something that brings out a darker aspect of your personality or makes you follow somebody else's darker aspects rather than moving towards something that brings you more light or understanding. You're sort of living with other people's negativity, sort of rent free in your head, maybe.
Well, when you get the Eight of Cups reversed, it is a backpedaling, and it's almost as if you're willing to accept conditions that aren't totally right for you anymore and just stay with that status quo as opposed to moving on to something you wanted to shift and change in your life you felt for the better. Well,
Card three. Are the air signs' feelings justified, and or why?
why are they justified? I think it's because the Ace of Wands is reversed. Look at that. It almost falls into what I just said there, in that you wanted to do something new and innovative or out of the box for yourself, or maybe even if this is a workplace issue, you wanted to institute a new policy or procedure and they wouldn't let you. You really felt this is where things should be going in your life. And now delay or just not following through with it.
Well, hearkening more to my own idea about the first card being like you're stressed because you're being asked to be over aggressive or assertive, in your position or in what you do. This card says your feelings are justified because you did feel that maybe haste makes waste, or that being overly pushy, did not work here and caused more problems.
I like
And
that.
so you do feel justified.
Sure. So, well, how can you, air signs, turn that frown upside down? Ha ha! That's funny. It's the first one that was reversed. I mean, upright here, and I have to reverse it. It's the Queen of Wands reversed. This is really interesting to me. I almost wonder if this is a workplace situation, because it would make more sense here. It'd be unfortunate if it was in your personal life. But I feel here you just have to kind of cave to this. You sort of do, to turn that frown upside down. They're not going to accept what you wanted to do and implement if this was something new on the job at work, or if you have employees working under you and they are balking seriously at doing what you had planned. Maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board or admit that you need to hold back on this right now.
There is something like that happening. I think what could be happening with the air signs is that the Queen of Wands could just be saying, I'm pulling back a little bit. I'm not going to be my vivacious, charming, outputting self. I'm just going to sort of go slightly back a little bit and maybe let you come around to me, or just let this situation, get kicked down the road in a way. And I think it's mostly just saying, you will feel better if you're not really participating in this, even if it doesn't necessarily do anything really good for you.
So that's what we have for the air signs. I'm thinking here, let's just recap it real quick. Clearly, you feel like people are pressuring you to do something you didn't want to do, or to stop you. They're pressuring you to stop you from doing something that you wanted to do. I'm just going to go with it's the workplace, but you can determine, air signs, if this really relates to, other aspects of your life.
It's just really about maybe feeling like you're being marginalized in some respects or exploited in other respects.
And so, how are you dealing with the situation? You are stepping back, you're backpedaling, you're kind of caving to this. And I think that kind of fits in with that last card there, when I think about it. So, it just seems as though you're stepping back from this pressure. So you're either not going to do what you had intended on doing. That's what it looks like. I mean, I guess that's what
it feels like maybe you just don't feel there's a point in moving towards what they present, which just seems to be more of the same. You would rather move towards something more bright.
Well, right. If it's them pressuring you to do something as opposed to them stopping you from doing something, then I guess, you're just going to go back and rethink this a little bit, maybe, that do you really want to go forward under all this pressure, or do you want to step back? So either way, how do you how are your feelings justified? Well, because this really, you feel if they were pressuring you to do something you didn't want to do, it's just a non starter for you. You know, it's a non starter. You don't want to do it. If it's what I've said and they're pressuring you not to do something and start something, then, you know, you feel like, yeah, this is the end of it. I'm not going to be able to go with what I had hoped would be a better solution or a better way of doing things or something out of the box that could have generated more interest and maybe a better workflow
It
efficiency.
limits your productivity or it limits the options you felt you might have had.
And how to turn that frown upside down for the moment, just uh just go along with things is my feeling. If they're trying to stop you from doing stuff, just put it on the back burner for now. Maybe there'll be a better time and a place to implement it. But if it's what you said,
It's a neutral space that
yeah.
you have to carve out for yourself to not be too helpful, but not to be subordinate, obviously.
Good luck with that, air signs. Let's move on to fire. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Shuffle
Right.
first. Everybody needs their own little support comment. Emotional support. Right over here. There you go. All right, the first question is what is or will be making the fire signs unhappy right now? Oh, wow. It's the Page of Wands reversed. Wow. You know, they've been hiding the jobs reports in the US or playing with the numbers. So many places have been laying off right now and lots of shenanigans going on in the workplace. People are fearing AI taking over their jobs. I've heard that the VA is about to slash more jobs. I don't have that verified, but I'm just saying here, these are very difficult times as far as work and even considering starting a new business at this time with the economy as shaky as it is, with tariffs still not decided by the Supreme Court and things like that. So I feel like you're unhappy about not being able to initiate or get something started, or maybe getting some bad news on the job front.
Well, this card really does seem to speak more about what's going on with a general view of the world per its economic situations. And that would also take in, networking of different sorts and or commerce in general, that maybe there's just saying, really, there's no flow here. When the wand is the page of wands is reversed, it represents the idea of movement, between things that could be fiscal in nature. I mean, it has a lot more with it, but that's a key part of this, and I feel it is really saying there's sort of a displeasure in money stuff.
So, how are you dealing with this unhappiness? Okay. Wow. Does this ring true to the other reading a little bit too? Our air sign reading. So it just seems like something's up here. It's a Six of Swords reversed. And how you're dealing with it is you're not doing anything about it. You're stuck. You feel like you're stuck. That's how you're dealing with it, and stifled and stagnating and having to deal with less than optimal conditions in your life right now, particularly if you've lost a job. The job market is so tight right now. I mean, it's going to be you're not looking forward to trying to find work at this time when so many other people are.
You're not dealing with this very well at all because you feel you are trapped in something that's really troublesome and hard to get away from. You can't feel positive about how you're going to move away from your current situation. And of course, this is across the board for the fire sign. So some people may feel they're more impacted, and some people may not feel that they're very impacted. But in general, there's an impact that it feels like you can't move from that. That's the key item to me, is that you just can't find a way to move away from it.
Wow. So, why are your feelings justified here? Is the King of Swords reversed? You feel like maybe you haven't been in control of the situation, that others are controlling the strings here, others with malevolent purposes. Think of greedy corporations who are pocketing massive amounts of money while laying off thousands of employees. Think about things like that. Just some real unfairness. And other places maybe cutting back and shortchanging retirees or soon to be retirees by forcing them into early retirements, things of that nature. And your feelings are justified right now too, because you maybe about this in particular, not moving forward, because you feel as though you can't think of a good way to get out of this mess.
You feel like you have no agency. There's nothing you can do, and that maybe to some degree your fate largely seems ordained through other agency or things that you just don't have as much input to.
And so how do you turn that frown upside down? Oh. It's the wheel reversed, which is very interesting in this spot, because fire signs, there's two messages here. I think one of the obvious messages is you just have to ride out this difficult time and wait for conditions to improve. Wait for the right time to strike. Maybe now is not the right time to strike. And if you can afford to lay low or get some odd jobs to get you through for a while, if it is about a job loss, for example, then do so. The other thing about this is that we have to... Well, I'll let you go. I want to firm this.
Yeah, because I want to do it in a part two and come back after your part.
Okay.
Because I do feel like there's definitely a sense of cycles going on here, and that this is saying that, you may not be able to immediately turn the situation around, that you may have to wait for a cycle to turn here. Go ahead.
That's the positive, and that's actually sort of what I was going to get at, is the fact that this is only temporary. This is a bump in your road for sure, and a difficult one maybe for some of you. But the wheel is constantly turning. So what this is saying is you'll get through this in time.
The other thought I had, and it came actually in the first part of the reading before we were doing this part, was that maybe when the wheel's reversed, it talks about deconstructing something, deconstructing the wheel. And of course, it's a popular term in certain forms of fiction. But when you deconstruct something, you sort of take it down to its bare elements, and then you try to build it up from that point of view. And so in this situation, that really means that maybe if what's bugging you is the economy, you have to really think about where you sit in there and maybe take it back down to the rudimentary and rebuild from there. And I know it sounds like a platitude, but think about it.
Well, I like that. I do. So let's recap real quick.
Okay.
Some bad news was received. Maybe if some of you've got, have lost jobs. Maybe you're just unable to get something you want started because, money is tight. Lenders are being maybe more scrutinizing, or, whatever the case may be, your business is faltering a little bit and it's making you unhappy.
It's the lack of flow in economic and or financial matters.
Or career matters.
Career matters.
And how are you dealing with it? You're going nowhere right now. And maybe, you have to settle for these suboptimal conditions for now, but you realize this is really bad for you and you need to make some changes. Hopefully when conditions change.
It's hard for you to deal with it because you don't feel there's really a very clear way to move ahead.
And that's the problem. You are fire signs. You always want to keep moving. All right, so why are your feelings justified? Because you feel like some malevolent sources have caused all of this, that you feel you've been treated unjustly, unfairly, if you've lost a job, or if you've been disapproved for loans that you need, or whatever the case may be. You feel this has been totally out of your control, and you don't know what to do about it. You're kind of spinning your wheels right now.
There was a whole generation of people, maybe even before my generation, that used to say, you can't fight City Hall. And that's a sense of having no agency, no ability to make an impact.
And how do you turn that frown upside down? Speaking of spinning your wheels, well, there it is. The time is just really bad right now. And so maybe if you can afford to or find workarounds, hold off on trying to find a job or to try to improve your conditions hugely right now. Wait till conditions improve. In time, things will get better.
It is about watching the cycle to change and hoping to get in on it. There may be a chance that some things can be deconstructed and you can find new fixes that maybe, move beyond that. But your best hope is to understand it as a cycle.
Good luck with that, fire signs.
All right.
Watch her now. Watch her.
Water. And water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Possibly the signs most prone to embrace the concept of unhappiness for whatever reasons.
All right, Mr. O. Shuffle.
All right, water signs, what is or will be making us unhappy right now?
The Five of Pentacles is reversed here, of course. Well, it's usually a more positive card. But I will say this. I think what it is you may be undergoing a recovery right now, whether it's your health, whether it's financially, maybe finding a new job, etc., or, improving your financial circumstances if you've gotten into too much debt, for example. But it may be going a little bit more slowly than you had hoped. That's what I think is going on here. And it's making you unhappy and it's frustrating you. I mean, obviously, I'll just give you a little advice first is stay the course. It's going to be frustrating, but, slow recovery is better than no recovery.
And, this does speak a lot about the sense of maybe no longer feeling isolated, but sometimes even when that happens, it still may be hard to get your total perspective back in gear. And so this could be saying that even though, you may be carving out a place for yourself, there's still a bit of work to do. And so you realize you've only just begun in a way, that you've only entered a bigger picture that you have to also reasonably figure out.
So, how are you dealing with the situation? It's the Page of Pentacles reversed. Okay, well, I think how you're dealing with the situation is not super good. You're not being very grounded. It's possible here, if this is, for example, a situation of debt, you're still letting money trickle away from you. And I kind of think maybe it's because it's the holidays for some of us, and maybe you're spending a little bit because you feel like you need to take care of others at this time. But what you're doing right now is maybe you should be more careful, because you're sabotaging yourself a little bit by not managing the situation properly. You're not being very grounded. You're being kind of wishy-washy as to how to resolve what's wrong. And if it's in regards to your health, you really need to be following doctor's orders and not messing around, not messing around.
Another way that maybe your behavior, water signs, is a little ungrounded is that you're looking at things as solutions, but they don't necessarily have the ring of truth around them. So this could be saying watching garbage YouTubes or, internet sites that aren't really giving you the full perspective or even the real perspective on what your problems are.
How do we, oh wait, what is it? Why are your feelings justified? Wow, is this just going to be Pentacle Palooza? Which really does think, in my mind, it has to do with finances or health, but
Mm-hmm.
physicality. But
Good
let's
point.
see here. It's the Knight of Pentacles reversed. So why are your feelings justified? Wow, that goes right back to what I said in the beginning. That things are moving too slowly for you. And you're
Yeah.
getting reckless and careless because of that. Okay, so you might be spending a little bit more money because you can't wait for this recovery to take full effect. You've gotten a little bit ahead, so you think, oh, I can spend now. And then you set yourself back again. Or with your health, you're feeling a little bit better, so you think, oh, I can get off these drugs the doctor gave me, or I can go out and mingle again, and you've done yourself more harm than good.
Well, this may be more pertinent to the water signs or people with water stuff in their charts. But I almost feel like this signals a complacency that's happening, and that I relate this to how people got complacent about COVID, vaccines, mask wearing, various issues like that. Your feelings may be feeling justified because you just sort of feel like, well, I can just wait and it'll get better. And so you sort of have a stagnation going on or an inertia going on that's based on somebody else taking care of this, and you just have to wait long enough.
So how can you turn that frown upside down? Can you believe it?
No.
It's all pentacles.
And
And it's the King of Pentacles reversed.
Court card
Yeah.
Palousas.
So clearly, how you turn this frown upside down is by giving yourself the time, being more patient, being more patient and not aggressively trying to fix this. And I think you're getting more control over the situation. It just seems as though you might have had some real control here, but you've lost your way, and out of frustration because it's moving too slow. You need to be more patient and slow it down and really pursue this methodically, what you need to do, and understand that whatever happened to you, illness wise, or maybe it was an accident, maybe you're healing a broken bone or something too. Whatever the case may be, health wise or money wise, it's not going to happen overnight.
Is it possible that maybe you also need to slow down so that you could embrace or encompass some out of the box thinking, some things that maybe don't fit the regular mode of how things should run, and maybe your solution is something different?
I like that. So let's recap. It
All
looks
right.
like this is either relating to your finances, financial situation, or possibly your health. I mean, I can see the other part of the card. I understand where isolation gets involved, but I really feel this looking at all of the pentacles here. And I think that you need to get a better handle on your recovery here. You are feeling that your recovery is going too slow, but, depending on your circumstances, some things will take more time than others. If you've got a massive pile of debt, unless you're very rich or you hit the lottery and you're going to put it all on your debt, you're not going to get very far overnight.
Is some of this possibly related to the fact that this is new collaborations for you, whether it's specifically team working or other agencies you have to interact with, and so some of that is just sort of that sluggishness going along with learning the ropes?
You're not healing too either by trying to rush your recovery. And so the Page of Pentacles here, it says, how are you dealing with this right now? Well, you're kind of not thinking outside the box on this, number one. You feel a little bit muddled in your thinking, and you're really not pacing yourself. You're not doing what you normally do. You might be doing some reckless things, spending money when you don't have it, feeling obligated that you have to buy people expensive gifts when you can't afford it. Dial it down a little bit.
Are you letting yourself be fooled or beguiled by internet stuff that's just junk science? I think there's a possibility with that too.
The Knight of Pentacles reversed in how are your feelings justified? Well, you feel they are because you feel again that things are just moving too slow for you. And it's causing you to be reckless. You're blaming, I think you really need to look inside here as to why you are trying to rush something that really you should not.
You're trying to wait the cycle out in a way, and so you feel like you can just do that's what's causing your sluggishness is you're just waiting.
And how do you turn that frown upside down? By regaining more control over yourself and your demons a little bit. I'll just say it that way. The devil inside that wants you to spend, or wants you to get back out there and do things before you are ready. It's like get control over yourself. That's really almost what I think needs to happen here. And then the rest will fall into place.
Look for possible out of the box solutions. They may be there, but you have to look for them.
Good luck with
All right.
that. And we are on the earth signs. Yeah. Wow, with all that earth, I would have thought we were on the earth signs. But no, it's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorns. This reading's for you. I probably should have let you shuffle first. You can shuffle first for the world then. Sorry. That's right.
Well, you took my turn. I was going to take your turn. All right. So, earth signs, what will be making you unhappy right now?
Oh my, this would make me unhappy. It's the Hermit reversed.
Earth signs, maybe you're not feeling totally down with the holiday mood coming down. Maybe you feel
I like that.
Well, I mean, it could be about that, but on the other hand, the Hermit reverse could be saying you might be trying to ignore some of the deeper issues here. For some reason, I related it to holiday times, but it doesn't have to be. It could be that maybe by becoming a little bit more involved in things, you are also avoiding an issue that you also need to think about or its resolution.
Well, I kind of like what he said there about the holidays because in a way the Hermit is coming back out of his cave, but because this is unhappy hour and it's making you unhappy to do so, maybe you're feeling pressure or forced to go to family gatherings or office parties and that you really don't feel up for. But beyond that too, there's an idea with the Hermit that you've been putting off something. You've been hiding from something that now you can't avoid any longer. It's kind of like you were maybe hoping a situation or a thing you had to deal with would just go away or maybe be taken care of by someone else. But no, it's still there waiting for you. And now that's making you rather unhappy.
Card 2. How are you dealing with this, or how will you be dealing with it?
Well, I want to go back to the holiday one after seeing this one. Yes, because it's the Six of Cups, Earth signs reversed. I think you are I think if this is about now wanting to go to holiday gatherings, it could be because there's some bad memories of dealing with some of the people you're going to be seeing at these gatherings, whether it's with friends, whether it's with coworkers. Maybe there's been a falling out with some of the coworkers over time, or your bosses, or whether it's with family.
Do you remember a couple years ago when we did the TFT Christmas tarot, and it was about,
We need to get that deck out.
the
You know, I'm
ghost of
thinking about
Christmas,
that.
past, present, and future. And so I feel
Yes.
that kind of sense here that
Yeah.
maybe some of the earth signs are really, feeling like it's a bridge very far for them. And what is it, the Six of Cups? There's a sense about, this idea that with the holidays, people want to remember the good times, and maybe you can lose yourself in that, but maybe that's not the total picture either.
I'm thinking this is interpersonal. And you know what? I can even equate what I said, that last part of the hermit, to this as well. Because maybe what you're trying to avoid, right, is dealing with the issues that are being brought up by seeing these people again, right? There's some unfinished business you'd rather not deal with.
That is a connotation,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah.
Card 3. Why are the earth signs' feelings justified?
Because there's unfinished business.
There's unfinished business.
It's the world reversed. Wow, it's almost like I predicted that coming
It
up.
really feels like unless you perfect this or finish this, you're going to either keep repeating it or it just is going to hang there like that.
Yeah. So maybe you realize that there might be a finality to this. If you go to these gatherings, you may do something or say something that will, like, maybe terminate a friendship or a family relationship permanently. You're just worried about something coming to an end, maybe, that you'd rather leave hanging than have it come to an end.
Earth signs can be blunt.
So weird.
Card 4. How will those earth signs turn it upside down?
And we have the upside down hanged man. And look at it. I mean, what is going on here? This is an interesting reading.
You may have to hold your ground. You may have to really hold your ground and say, I'm not going there. I'm not making that choice. I'm not making that sacrifice.
Yes, don't make the sacrifice. Maybe stay in your cave. If this, and a lot of people are saying that now. Don't feel forced to go to places and gatherings that are not good for you, are not healthy for you. Let it go. You don't, I mean, there might be pressure at work, but say you're sick, something happened. Maybe take the day off sick before you have to go, so that it will reinforce that. Whatever the case may be, don't force yourself to do something that is not right for you and you don't feel good about.
It only creates an even greater association with negativity around the holidays, and you really don't want that. You want to try to find ways to enjoy it.
Let's read this again.
Yes.
Wow. So then, in one hand, the hangman's coming off his tree. The hermit is coming out of his cave. It's just so weird.
But they're getting ready to turn around.
Right.
They're falling off.
It is such a strange reading, earth signs, really. And I like it. I mean, I'm just saying, what you're dealing with right now is a situation you don't want to deal with. You'd rather just go hibernate, hide back in your cave, and not come out. Not come out.
It's possible you feel you can dilute it with holiday gatherings, but more likely that's what the issue really is.
Because it's going to burble up things. That's how are you feeling about it. You're afraid that if you come out, go to these gatherings of different sorts, or, whatever it is you are facing, okay? But we're throwing it this way because it just seems to make sense. Old memories are going to surface that aren't very healthy ones for you, that have made you angry or bitter about your past, and maybe it will bring out angst in others too, or just waiting to see you again, to bring something up again.
Your feelings are justified because you realize that they can probably never be resolved, or they certainly stand there as some sort of anchor preventing movement.
So, how are you justifying this? Because you don't want something to maybe come to an end, a nasty end, big breakup argument or big problem, or you're afraid of, the unfinished business that all of this is going to bring up in general, I think. So, card 4 is don't go. Don't make the sacrifice. If you don't feel up for this, if this is too much for you, make an excuse. Make an excuse and get out of it.
Come down from the tree, but be missing in action.
Right. Right. There you go. All right.
So
Wow.
now we are on our final reading, and it's a collective reading for the world.
And you are supposed to shuffle for
Right.
this.
So from a global perspective, there could be a lot of different things going on, and where is that measured? What is the indicator for the world consensus of what really bugs the world?
Yep.
We're going to try to see.
Indeed.
And if we had mentioned it, the deck we're using is the,
Oh, yeah. You post it, though, don't you?
I think so.
It's the This Might Hurt Tarot deck. And it's a really nice deck for this particular show because it might hurt a little bit,
Yes.
but we try to make it better.
All right, so card one, what is or will be making the world unhappy?
Huh. It's the Five of Cups reversed. Somebody returning from your past, maybe making you unhappy. Often this card indicates new opportunities for growth, but I wonder here if some new opportunity that's coming along, coming your way is not totally meeting your expectations or what you had hoped for.
Well, it's arriving from the point of there's been some sadness or bitterness about what hadn't remained versus what still remained. And so you almost wonder if this is saying new world coalitions to deal with, threats or menaces that affect a lot of countries or certain blocks of
Oh,
countries.
that's right. Why am I? Well, but okay, now this takes, I don't know why I wasn't thinking world when I was reading
No, that's
this.
okay. It was still good.
Because what I said about relationships is important here. Because of what just happened with the U.S. sending their strategic military strategy out, and it seems to be really messing with their relationship with Europe, their long-standing relationship with our European allies. And so maybe there's some remorse about some of what's going on here.
It's a dubious pain. They're not sure exactly what to feel just yet,
Yeah.
but it's becoming clearer, perhaps.
And many of the things mentioned in that strategic plan should worry a lot of the world right now. So maybe, where one is looking at this as an opportunity, others are saying, oh, this is terrible.
Card two, how will the world be dealing with this, or how are they dealing with it?
Not very happily.
Oh dear, star reversed.
Clearly, we're feeling very pessimistic about the state of things, whether it's this or something else. Maybe, for example, too, I could give another example that everybody thought there might be some hope that, peace would have been achieved by now in Ukraine because of back and forth stuff and some supposed thoughts that peace could be reached, but it looks like now they don't even seem close. So there could be a lot of reasons for this pessimism worldwide right now.
I heard it said somewhere recently that various officials in Europe and Britain and where not are feeling not secure in their destiny or future with the U.S. as a reliable ally.
Yes.
And so this is how they're dealing with it, is by realizing that destiny isn't so secure and that they might have to consider other alternatives.
So
Card three.
why do we feel why does the world's feelings justified, or how?
Yes.
It's Temperance reversed, which really plays right into all of this. I feel like they feel that there's no balance, that things are really rocky, and that there's no solid ground to stand on right now.
Certain world actors may act immoderately.
Yeah. Wow, I don't even know what more to say other than
No, it just writes itself, doesn't
everything. How does the world possibly turn this frown upside down?
it? Just say no.
I get it. say no to this military, this strategic plan of the US's. Don't cave into it. Don't, and also some of the other things that are being thrown out there right now. Say no to boats being bombed randomly in Venezuela, off the coast of Venezuela. Say no to new initiatives that are bad for the world. Say no to that.
The Page of Wands, really, in this form, is about how this world is trying to inform and create things, and we need to respond wherever we are with what we really feel, which is, no, these things are very provocative in the wrong sense.
Say no to dictatorial type people who, for example, want to make Ukraine give up all their land or most of it to their country to end a war they started. So say no to things like that. I think here the world has to stand up as much as, the world wants U.S. citizens to stand up against the things that are going wrong in this country. We all have to stand together.
If the pages can stand as, messages or invitations even, then this is one we need to refuse.
I mean, giving a peace prize to somebody who really has not given peace anywhere is just ludicrous. So
let's recap.
And definitely anti what this reading is saying we must do. Let's recap. So disappointment and some disappointment over something new that surfaced, some new opportunity that just is sounding awful now. Maybe we are anticipating something good, the world, but it's not good. Whether it's peace plans for Ukraine that seem to have not been good. For example, ones that were designed in Russia by Russia instead of with all the players, including Europe, having a role in it. Right? So, it's stuff like that. And it's causing us all to feel very pessimistic in the world right now. Nobody is feeling very enthusiastic about what is going on in the world.
The future doesn't seem to look bright.
Yeah. And so why are feelings justified, or how are they justified? Because we feel the lack of balance that is there. It's funny, there's been a number of earthquakes lately in recent months or so, but there's always some in the world, I'll say that. However, it makes me feel this temperance and balance thing here, that the earth is shaking right now from some of the stuff that's going on.
Right, the stability is kind of psychosomatic for the world and what's going on in it.
We feel it, the earth feels it. And so how do we turn this frown upside down? By not accepting things that aren't good for us, by not allowing people to, force their new ideas on a world that does not want them.
We don't need to extend our agency with that agency.
Yeah. That's it. That's what we have for everybody. Woo! Interesting readings for now. And gotta say, wow. So hopefully this will all work out. We'll all figure out solutions, including the world, before we meet again at the next fourth quarter moon. And before we sign off, just in case this is the only show you watch in that time, wishing everybody a happy holiday season, whichever of the holidays you celebrate this season.
All of them.
And a happy new year ahead.
All righty.
Take care, everybody. Try to stay happy.
Bless you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.